Well, terrible news. A 14-year-old boy has been charged with the murder over the fatal stabbing of Alfie Lewis in Leeds. Alfie was 15.
That's right. Fatal stabbings in England and Wales are at the highest level since records began, with 282 homicides committed using a knife or sharp instrument last year.
Like with Alfie Lewis, many of the victims and perpetrators are too young to drink or drive, yet somehow they acquire and feel the need to carry knives.
So how can we stop this knife crime epidemic? Joining us to discuss what can be done is the chair of Haringey Communities Against Violence, Ken Hinds. Ken, good to see you. Thank you for bringing your expertise, experience and insight to this topic for us. In your experience, first of all, why are predominantly young boys carrying knives?
They use the false pretense. For example, they use the false pretense of thinking that by carrying a knife, I'm getting some feedback on.
Okay, we can hear you, Ken.
Okay, just to say, to start again, young people sometimes think that they need to carry a knife to safeguard themselves. Now, that's a false premise for them to have. Now, but basically, there's no excuse for people carrying knives. What I find quite clearly is that people are suffering from trauma, emotional trauma. Now, if they don't check in with how their emotional well-being as to where they are with themselves, if they've lacked self-esteem, confidence, then they generally will want to take on, to carry a knife. My thing is simply this: the school should be aware of some of these youngsters that are struggling with their emotional well-being. And in doing so, they should be stepping in to allow people like myself and other groups, grassroots groups, to come in and to help kind of mentor those young people to deal with that trauma more effectively.
So what you're describing there, Ken, really are young people who are scared. Fundamentally, when I ask why they're carrying knives, and they're scared, they lack confidence, they feel vulnerable on the streets. But that doesn't explain the aggression that then leads to attacks. Where's that coming from?
Well, if a young person feels violated, they're going to feel that they're going to have to step up and do something about it. Now, you also got the social media influences and some music that actually says that what they will do if they got violated, and they often feel that they have to go savage on the people who've been violating them. Now, to me, they don't think about consequences. They just think about getting revenge. But personally, I think that we've got to stop looking at these symptoms and start looking at the causes. Now, if we can't get into schools and deal with young people at a lot earlier age, I'm talking about in primary school, I'm talking about in nursery, we need to have programs about emotional well-being. So, and to how to tackle the rage or the red mist that sometimes come to us. As adults, we check in and we deal with it. We deal with it more effectively.
Ideally, we do. Not all adults do, admittedly. But no, I think I recognise what you're describing: thin-skinned young boys, easily offended, think they've got a right to perpetrate some sort of justice on an experience that they perceive as a slight. But where is the sense of what is right and what is wrong? Because throughout history we've had kids who didn't have great self-esteem, but they didn't take a knife because they were fearful of what? The consequences, of authority, of teachers, of the police. That's all disappeared, Ken.
Yes, it has. And since we stop parents from disciplining disciplining children, our own children, it means that the children are now dominant in some homes because they know that if even a parent talk out of hand to a child, they can call up Childline or go back into the school and report that, and that parent could get into a problem, right? And if and God help a parent who put their hands on their child, which in some cases, by doing it early, may prevent them having to put their hand on the child later down the line and have that child in check. At the moment, the child has got a lot of
power and freedom
laws that protect, power. But we haven't taught them about responsibility to go with that power. And until we get some sort of balance, this is not just in London. Look, this happened in Leeds. This happens all around the country, and it's unacceptable that we're thinking that we can arrest our way out of this. We can't, and we shouldn't be excluding kids either. We should be working within schools to get a better results from them.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Really interesting. Ken Hinds there, who does work with young people, the chair of Haringey Communities Against Violence.